Welcome to Cinema Court. I am Trevor, your host, and I just want to say I'm really sorry. I know this video is really late coming out. So I'll give you the explanation for why afterwards, but I want to get you into the content right away. So what we'll do is we'll watch the video, afterwards I'll explain what's going on, and then there'll also be a chance for me to take all the comments I haven't been answering and actually get around to answering them for you. So in the meantime, let's proceed.
Court will come to order. The Honorable Judge Boord presiding. Counsel for the defense, you may proceed.
Thank you very much, Mr. Judge, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, and viewers of the internet. In a history of mediocrity, Dragonheart is not even close to being king. It mostly just is. But for what it is, it does manage to rise above the generic expectations of the genre to be a very fun and energizing romp. Dennis Quaid plays the disenchanted knight of the old code named Bowen. When his protege, Prince Einan, is injured, he takes the boy to a dragon to be saved. However, when Einan's tyrannical side reveals itself right after the confrontation with the dragon, Bowen realizes that it may have something to do with what the dragon did, and so he begins a quest to hunt down that dragon.
I love that boy and you changed him! You tricked me, dragon! No matter where you fly, no matter where you go, I will find you! Today I make a new vow! I will spend the rest of my life hunting you down!
That's just the setup. What follows is rebellions and dragon fights and battles interspersed with humor and heart. Dragon heart, if you will. Right. The heart in the film mostly comes from the interactions between Bowen and Draco, who is voiced by the very wonderful Sean Connery. And that was a pretty bad Sean Connery impersonation, but I'm just going to go with it anyway, because it's in the record there, so... anyways, back on track. It really is a great joy to watch these characters grow. They grow from being mortal enemies, to being charlatans in arms, to being actual friends.
How do we gain? If you win, you lose a trade. If I win, I wait around for the next sword slinger thirsting to carve a reputation out of my hide. I'm tired of lurking in holes and skulking in darkness. I'm gonna let you up now. And if you insist, we can pursue this fracas to its final stupidity. Or you can listen to my alternative.
Pretty much, Draco is above and beyond the most amazing element in this fantasy tale. For one, again, he's voiced by Sean Connery. That was not much better, was it? You know, let's just pretend that neither of those impersonations happened, and I think we'll all be a lot happier. For another reason why Draco is one of the most amazing elements in this film is because look at the design. The design of the character is so amazing. He's the most realistic CGI dragon to come out of a film, at least until The Hobbit. But even then, that took almost 2 decades. 2 decades where he was the best dragon depiction on film. And third, there's something human about his need for redemption. His need that drives him.
I should think you'd welcome death. You know, the last of your kind, all your friends dead, hunted wherever you go.
Do you delight in reminding me? Yes, Knight, I do long for death. But fear it.
Why? Aside from your misery, what's to lose?
My soul.
There are a few other elements that are worth talking about, such as how David Thewlis portrayed a very realistic and tyrannical king. Before Game of Thrones did it better, of course, but I see a pattern here. This movie set things up that were then surpassed by later films and TV shows. So that's got to stand for something. Dina Meyer as the love interest Kara is also pretty good as the rabble-rousing peasant. Although her action scenes do tend to leave her in more danger that she needs to be rescued from than not.
No! I don't know how you all got in here. I tell you this, you are going to get me out.
Move, and she dies.
Hell, the big romantic scene of the entire movie kind of just got cut from the final feature, so it's kind of a strange idea for her and Bowen to be an item anyway. But by keeping the romantic interests on the sidelines of the entire movie, it keeps the focus where it ought to, the relationship between Bowen and Draco, as well as the tyranny of Reimann. Because that is where this film truly shines. Sure, it may be a mostly frivolous escapade from the mid-90s, but at that point we didn't have high-toned and fancy CGI effects. And if you were a fantasy film from that time, you were almost designed to fail. But Dragonheart manages to rise above these complications with dragon effects capable of rivaling even today's movies, if not surpass them completely. And also, it manages to be a fun time with little or no facepalming over ridiculous fantasy tropes. And as such, for that reason, I believe that this movie should remain a beacon of joy, just like the Draco constellation, for all fantasy lovers who know where to look. And yes, I just made a quote from the movie and adapted it to this case. I'm just that good. Your Honor, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the defense rests.
Mr. Fitch, I am amazed. You actually kept your defense brief. Even more amazing, I find myself moved by nostalgia for this film, even though it is mediocre at best. I thereby sentence Dragonheart to 1 year suspended sentence. Court adjourned.
So that was the Cinema Court episode for Dragonheart. I hope you enjoyed it, but for me, I think it was still a little bit rough. Unfortunately, I didn't really have enough time to perfect it to exactly where I wanted to be, especially because it's already been so long since I actually got around to getting it out. So I wanted to get it out for you so you guys can see it actually, and unfortunately it's not my favorite episode, but it's one of those films I actually do feel pretty strongly about. So the reason for everything coming out so late is because I'm actually going to be moving location. I'm packing everything up, I'm moving to a new place where I'll be living, where I'll be working, and that's been going on for the last 2 months now. I've been getting things together, packing things up, and I haven't had any time off to do anything with YouTube, and I'm really sorry for that. But it is just my hobby, so I'm doing my best, I really am. I'm just not able to get things out as quickly right now. But I will be. Right now I'm working on scripts. I've got scripts written. So the written scripts, those are going to be brought into Season 2, which I'm hoping to start in December. I just need more time to get things written, get things filmed, and I'm hoping to get a bunch of episodes together before that time comes, so that way, when I start producing them, there's a series that you can watch, and it'll be more consistent for a little while. But in the meantime, because I'll be doing things a little bit differently for now, where I'm just going to be taking a hiatus for Season 1, which is about the length of a Seinfeld Season 1. Seinfeld was maybe 10 episodes long for Season 1, something like that. Roughly speaking, that's about where I am right now. So Season 2 will be coming out the beginning of December or mid-December, somewhere in there. I'll keep you posted on that. I'll also be releasing some other channel stuff that I've been wanting to do, video game wise, and also maybe a few other things here and there. I'm not sure. We'll have to see. But let's go ahead and we'll start talking about some comments. What would be the most ridiculous conversation starter or question you could think of? Now I know I started addressing this question before, and my last time I did something with questions, but I didn't get to the second part and it's been really busy, so I didn't get a chance to do anything with that. But it's in reference to a scene in the room, which let me go ahead and I'll play a clip of that really quick for you.
How was work today? Oh, pretty good. We got a new client at the bank. We'll make a lot of money.
What client?
I cannot tell you. It's confidential.
Oh, come on. Why not?
No, I can't. Anyway, how is your sex life?
Unfortunately, I had some good answers a long time back, but now I don't remember they were. Just off the top of my head right now, really awkward one is if I were to go up to someone right now and I'd be like, so, smell my perfume? That'd be a little bit awkward. I don't wear perfume. Why would I want to? I'm sorry, I'm not into wearing perfume myself. I've been sprayed with perfume before. That was back in middle school. That was very interesting. Very interesting. Let me think for another moment or two if I can think of anything. Yeah, I'm drawing a blank at the moment because I used to have a really good one when I first saw that question, and I was going to get around to actually presenting it, but I never got around to it. Sorry, guys. So, smell my perfume. That's the one I got for you right now. That wasn't that bad. Okay, yeah, so maybe it wasn't that bad, but to me it was. I try not to be that disorganized when I'm talking on camera, but it just, when I was doing that video blog just to give you an update of what was going on, I was pretty much all over the place. I was trying to focus on driving more than actually talking, which is a good thing, but yeah, don't try it at home. Don't try it at home. Trust me, you shouldn't do that. Woot! What's up, man? First subscriber for the win! And glad to have you along, Boneygibbons. We really are glad to have you here. You pronounced my name correctly. Smiley face. I'm glad to hear that, Alexander, because when I was trying to drive and focus on that, I wasn't sure that I was actually going to get that across correctly, and I'm really glad I got it right, because that's one thing. Whenever I do try to address my fans, I do my best to actually try and get your names correctly. So, I might slip up here and there. If I say it wrong at one point, let me know. We'll get that fixed up for the next time. I drive by that exact place where he is a lot. And now you know the reason why I must leave. Mr. Turtle Krisps, it is all your fault. It is all your fault. No, actually, it's pretty cool that you can actually recognize the places that I was, because there really wasn't that much background. Kudos to you. Good eye. Good eye. Or was I? I'm just curious. Just send me a message through YouTube and let me know if you still know where that was, because that would be interesting to know if you really were on the right track on that. I prefer the Council Confidential videos. I do too, denzoThirteenEleven. I really love the Council Confidential videos. When I first started out, it's like, I wanted to do something where I was defending the bad films. That's something that has to be a part of what this channel is about, because that's so integral to the whole idea of what CinemaCore is. But at the same time, I still love what I used to do back on my other channel, The Gentleman Voice, where I actually tore apart bad movies constantly. So I wanted to bring some of that back in, but still make it part of a sketch comedy that wasn't a long, drawn-out process, and I could still make it into my own material without it being a copyright thing. So that's where Council Confidential came in, and I'm really glad that you like that, because I really love that too. CinemaCore is also going to have a little bit changing, by the way. It's not going to be all just the single monologue to the judge anymore. After this season's done, next season we're bringing in 2 new people, all played by myself right now, but 2 new people who will be there for creating more of a dynamic debate about the whole movie. So keep an eye out for that. It's going to be a different format. It's going to be different. It's going to be more fun, hopefully. Hopefully it's more of a cinematic experience rather than just me monologuing. I think you might enjoy it a lot more. Transformers plot is all about explosions and blah 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 explosion. Nice job and another great video. Smiley face. Thank you, Alexander. By the way, yes, that's pretty much, it is true. That's what Transformers really is. Although if you've seen the behind the scenes, you'll know I never actually watched the movie. I'm really not into the Transformers series. But the reason why I did the first one, even though it technically goes against the rules I have for doing a review, which is that Rotten Tomatoes has to give it a relatively low score, somewhere between 60 and 0. Pretty much the one reason I broke the rule on that one is because it's tying into a joke that I'm going to be doing in a little bit. And I think you can all agree that Michael Bay's Transformers are really not substantial enough to be considered a good movie, unfortunately. Granted, there are some that are. Yeah, well, it's not that good. Transformers, a movie where giant robots, explosions, and Megan Fox's boobs save the Earth from other giant robots and explosions. Well, gee, spoiler alert. Well, Mr. One Bar, that does pretty much sum up my impression of what it is. And if you look how it's all really sexualized when it comes to Megan Fox, yeah, it's pretty much all about the sex appeal for her. It's all about the Transformers fighting giant robots pretty much. And then there's just the explosions. There's actually a video I saw on YouTube when I was writing up the script because I wanted to make sure I could get at least some of my facts right on that. And one of the videos, I don't remember which one it was, but it counted up all the explosions in the first 3 Transformer movies, and oh my goodness, there was, I think, over 300 or something for all 3 movies together. Ridiculous amount. And pretty much, yeah, that's what saves the whole series. It's just Megan Fox's boobs. It's all testosterone rushes. I'm sorry, it's just sexploited, and I really don't like sexploited material. I do like the attempt of reverse psychology at the beginning. That, and I also see that this channel is getting noticed, so yay! Smiley face! Thank you again, Alexander. Yes, it is getting noticed, and it is actually coming together pretty well. I wish I had more time to devote to it, of course, but it's still, I'm enjoying the experience of working with everyone here. I'm enjoying the experience of everyone just enjoying what I'm putting out there. It's a lot of fun. I'm really glad to see that people are enjoying it. Yet the reverse psychology, had to do something different. Had to do something to break up the whole system of, I'm just here to defend it, all good and good. No, it has to be different. There has to be some changes here and there. And in this case, yes, it was reverse psychology. Reverse psychology, it's like, well, it's a horrible movie, no. I was like, well, that's not what I meant. I was just saying that because you always disagree with everything I say. And yeah, so that worked out well. I'm glad that it worked out for you. I'm glad you like that. And stay tuned. I'm hoping to get some more stuff like that in season 2, like I was saying earlier, for what the new content's going to be like. The Judge kind of reminds me of Professor Snape from the Harry Potter series. Or maybe Professor Snape reminds you of the Judge from my series. Nah, not really. But in all truth, yeah, the voice is based off of Professor Snape, because Alan Rickman, he's got the perfect voice for something like that. He's got the dry, I'm not really interested in what is going on. I am just here to say the facts. That's probably a bad impression, but it's my version of doing an homage to that voice, because that voice works perfectly, especially for something like this. So good catch on that one, and yeah, you were absolutely correct. It is supposed to be reminiscent of Professor Snape. You put so much effort into your videos, and they are funny. Why aren't you bigger? But I respect the fact that this may be a hobby. I don't mind that. Kind of like the few people that may or may not watch our special. Thank you, Zachary Thomas, and I'm glad that you appreciate the amount of work I put into it, because there's a lot of stuff that goes into all the cinema court work, and I enjoy it all. It's time consuming, and then I've got everything else I have to do in my life, unfortunately, too. So yeah, it is unfortunately just a hobby. I wish it could be more, but at the same time, I don't. At the same time, I kind of wish I could just keep it as a hobby thing, so that way I can do other things, but have this be my outlet for creativity, because I love working on YouTube. It's so much fun. I love it so much. But it is something that I don't want to make it into a career, per se. I'd rather have it be just a nice hobby I can do, bring something out to entertain the masses, and even if it's a small, close-knit community like we have for this channel, that's perfect. It makes it that much more special, just like you were saying, because each of these people, they're watching it and they're enjoying it, and I mean, I've got a hardcore fan base that enjoys it, and the hardcore fan base, those are the people who I really want to keep, and the people I I truly am thankful to, because they are the people who are here watching this, making sure that I know doing this is a worthwhile pursuit and it's not just a waste of time for myself. So this is the thank you to you, and a thank you to everyone else who, by watching my channel, supports it, and thank you so much. I hope that I'm at least living up to the expectations you have, and I'm meeting the expectations I have for myself, and by watching you helps show me that I am. Could you do a review on The Message? I assume by The Message you mean The Message, the Story of Islam, which I don't really want to do that so much on my official channel, because it's unfortunately, it's meant for bad movies, and this movie, it's not a bad movie. If you look at Rotten Tomatoes, it's got a 93% from audiences, so it's in the range where I can't really get away with trying to tear that one apart. So rather than do that, what I'm going to do is I'll tell you my opinions about it right here. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. It's not necessarily something that's for me, but at the same time, I can appreciate the message, and it's a well-done story. For something that is based off of the background of a religious story, it's really well put together. It's not too overdrawn, but it is a little bit overbearing sometimes because it's trying to tie in directly to the Quran. Now, a few things that do bug me about it. I understand the reasoning behind it entirely. I'm not going to be knocking anything like that. But because they can't show the Prophet Muhammad, and this is essentially the story of the Prophet Muhammad, it makes it a little bit difficult sometimes to really tie into the main character that we're supposed to be feeling for and rooting for this whole time. Now, I understand the reason why. I'm not knocking anything about that. But the way they get around it, they had to be very creative with how to get around that. And I have to tip my hat that I don't have on my head right now to that, because they did a lot of work to avoid that. They made sure that he was not pictured in any of the scenes, so they're cutting him off in certain camera angles. And other times, if someone has to actually directly talk to the Prophet, they have them talking directly to the camera. Now, about that is one of the things that I don't like much at all. The reason why is because when they're talking directly to the camera, it's a very uncomfortable moment. It's like what I'm doing to you, but it's a lot more close. It's like this. They're talking directly to the camera, and it's a little bit offsetting. It's not very comfortable. It's not comfortable at all. So, also, it's a little bit ironic in how you can't really represent the Prophet on the film, but by putting the camera first person like that and having the people talking directly to the camera, you're sort of projecting the Prophet into the location of the audience. So the audience is being projected as the Prophet. Interesting parallel, not really something that's a problem. It's just something I was noticing. It's like, it's pretty noticeable. It's kind of, it's off-putting to me a little bit because of how uncomfortable that kind of a shot works for me. Now, it is a 1970s movie, and it shows a little bit. The style of the filming is pretty much, it's from that era. It's from that time period where you're able to get away with that style. And in the case of the characters, they're a lot more one-dimensional, but that goes to prove the point of what the film is trying to tell, which is the story of how Islam began. Now, that may be off-putting to other people. For me, it's not that bad. I didn't mind that as much. And yes, actually, one thing to add here, I did actually go watch this movie, especially just to make sure I could talk about it in the comments here to you. But, yeah, it's not that bad of a movie. It gives you a Hollywood version of the story. I'm pretty sure a lot of it might have been slightly exaggerated or adapted for Hollywood, but I'm not exactly certain exactly which parts. It just has a slight feel to it here and there, of course. Now, also I know that it's tying into the Quran, so the Quran is giving the explanation for that, and it's trying to transmute that into film. So I can understand it and I can appreciate that. Bottom line, pretty much out of the whole thing, Too Long Didn't Listen. Essentially, the video, the movie, it's a 1970s movie. For a 1970 movie, it's not that bad, and I think it stands pretty well. It could use a little bit of updating. I do wish that there was a way to involve the Prophet Muhammad without having him not be pictured. Oh, cinematography, that's one thing I want to mention on that, because I was thinking about it all from the last day or so, and I've been thinking about how to explain it. But the cinematography, where they do the first person thing, I wish that, except at one point they do a cut where the camera's just barely cutting off a camel, and the Prophet would be right here, just off camera barely. I wish they did that more instead of doing the first person look, because the first person look is so awkward, so awkward. So there's a part at the beginning when the Prophet Muhammad is being talked to by his uncle, and the uncle is saying, if you go down this path, they are going to hurt you. That part where he's just staring there saying, they will hurt you. What I wish they could have done instead was maybe shoot it slightly differently, like through a window. Give it more of a stylistic view like that, where the camera's looking through the window, it has the uncle on one side, and then Muhammad would be behind the wall. That would be the most amazing way to shoot that, because instead of being the first person awkward feeling for me, we then have a more stylized shot. In my opinion, my 2 cents, the movie, I think, still, for what it is a good film. It's not for me. I prefer to have less of a heavy religious tone in my movies, but because this is focused on actually telling the story of the religion and the Prophet Muhammad, I think it worked well. I think it worked very well. It might be off-putting to others because they're not as interested into the subject matter, but for me, I think it worked. And that's my opinion of the movie. I just wanted to make sure you understood that it's my opinion, not for me. I can appreciate how it was done now, and I can appreciate the troubles of trying to film around the Prophet Muhammad. So I understand, and I think for what they had to work with, not the same. for what they had to work with situation-wise, it worked well. And so, there it is. That is what's going on with Cinema Court. So, again, hiatus for Season 1 to be over. Season 2 is going to begin with the Dragonheart 2 Council Confidential that I really wanted to do. And then from there, we're going to go into the new Cinema Court series. We're going to do some more Council Confidentials. I'm still working on a few of those. Going to have to figure out how I'm going to do a few of those scenes. But we're going to get those together. And when we get those together, it is going to be great. It's going to be a fun series. I'm going to keep working at it here and there. But again, a hobby. It is a hobby. I've got other things going on in my life too. I'm going to be trying to bring in other channel things to do, like video gaming, maybe a animated story vlogs channel talking about myself, giving some insights into me. So keep an eye out for that if you're interested in that. Also, in the meantime, I want to keep doing questions like this maybe at the end of the video. So in between videos, post comments, and I will use those at the end and I will address anything. If there's questions about how I do something, post those. If there's questions about myself, post those. If there are questions about what I'm doing for the channel, post those. If there's questions about what I think about a movie, post those. If there's questions about what goes on in my life that's very private, don't post those. But post everything else, and you're welcome to do that. And I will approach those, I will talk about those with you, and we'll see how that goes. But yeah, definitely, we'll keep this going. We'll keep the channel going. Thank you for sticking with me through Season 1, and I will see you in Season 2, maybe with a few announcement videos in between. But in the meantime, thanks for watching, cheerio, and have a good one.